leader of the consortium of Indian associations, brings in the businessman's point of view. And, Mr. Raghunathan's voice is important because he's been talking to us now talking to me now for nearly 3 years, talking about the fact that SMEs have been in terrible trouble, and it's only gotten worse with every passing year. So we actually have to look at this from 3 different points of view. One, from inside of business, what's going on. 2, a macro point of view on the country as to what's going on and what help can be at bay. And especially, and most importantly, the mental health point of view and what kind of help needs to be given to business people who are in distress. Because remember, every one of these deaths means an entire family that has lost its breadwinner, that has lost its loved one. It's also employees in business that is now destitute as well. So what does all of this mean and how do we begin to correct this? Let me start with Mr. Raghunathan. Mr. Raghunathan, you've been cautioning about this actually for 2 years now. You said people are getting desperate. What is it like on the ground? Do these numbers surprise you at this point? Or were you expecting something this drastic?
Good evening, Faye.
Good evening.
Very aptly, I can say, I am now speaking to you from Chennai, which we are reeling under the rains for the last couple of days. I largely believe the prayers of the entrepreneurs have been answered by the rain god, because under the rains, they hide their tears. It's not a happy occasion where I speak to you now. The statistics is again misleading, and I am sure the data of the death of the businessmen can be almost 3 to 4 folds of what it is now. Reality. We have been warning. I have been speaking to you since the days of demonetization. And I have been saying the pressure is building up in the pressure cooker, but there is no pressure relief valve. And what we exactly wanted to avoid, we are not able to avoid. We have become a passive witness to what is happening now. The elasticity has been stretched beyond the point of no return. Let me explain to you, Faye, for the sake of the people's viewers' knowledge. On one side, we are celebrating 5-year ceremony of demonetization, 4th year celebration of GST. Do we call them celebration or do we call them memorial dates? Think deeply. How a small-scale entrepreneur or a self-employed has been able to go through in his life this pressurized state of life. Every entrepreneur has got 2 families to look after. One, the family which he lives for 12 hours, and the other one is an extended family who are dependents of him, which is he lives for another 12 months, 12 hours. This pandemic has made them abandon both. He's not been able to look after the life of the people inside his house, nor the life of the people, welfare of the people dependent on them. I in no way advocate or justify the suicidal intents of the people. But I need to admit, if you are pushed to the wall, what will you do?
Mr. Raghunathan, a specific question is there right now a piling up of debt on small businesses? Is that what is causing this distress?
No, basically the point of view is there is an insecure feeling among the people. The entrepreneurs live for their self-esteem. They value their word. And the whole business has been evolved with their promises and the word of mouth. I take some money today with a promise that I'll return it by evening. I go and do my hard work. I turn around the money, return it back by evening. When my trust is gone, my life is gone. And today you see, I run around to get an order. Then I run around to get the raw material. Then I run around to meet the cost of the manpower. Then I run around in facing the bankers who are fleecing me with a balance. Then finally I run around by becoming a defaultee to the statutory payments. They all gave me 6 months of moratorium. But for me, it took me 18 months to even look at the life. How will I pay it back?
Has the bankruptcy code failed you, Mr.
No. The bankruptcy code does not help any of the micro entrepreneurs. It doesn't help at all. It only helps the bigger units. It only safeguards the people who can engage a lawyer, who can fight, who can go through the process, who have a holding capacity. It really doesn't help a couple of lakhs being outstanding with somebody, you don't get your money. You see the fact of gold loan auctions. Who takes the gold loan, Faye? The gold loans are taken by the people who rotate their money on a daily basis. Now, they are not able to see their end of the tunnel. There is no light. And we have not wiped their tears at all, nor even acknowledged them. What for we are there? We are there to at least see them that their problems are recognized. No? Unfortunately, we have not even today recognized any of their problems. Let me explain to you. One side you have the disruptive technology is taking a boom. The traders are suffering because on one side, the companies are Flipkart is making a 7,000 crore loss, but their valuation is 1.2 lakhs crore. So they are able to give a better price because they get their money from not from the profit of the operation, but from the valuation of the enterprise, which doesn't happen with a small and micro sector entrepreneurs. Here, if they don't work, they are finished. Then the second take, for example, the COVID uncertainty, the business loss, technology disruption, debt burden, monopoly of the big players, sudden disruption of e-commerce, lack of support from the government bodies, society problems, pressure, insolvency taboo, joint family, unable to even close the loans, unable to even wind up my company. And then the notices, then the draconian laws which are not allowing the honest businessman to survive. Where will he go?
Okay, let me come back to you, Mr. Raghunathan. I just want to Mr. Raghunathan, I'm sorry I have to ask you this again because I ask you this often enough. But going by what the professor is telling us, things are not getting any better. They're likely to be more desperate. We have our government constantly telling us that they're preparing loans. And this happens also, by the way, when we talk about farmers. We talk about farmers who commit suicide. Obviously, there is a mental health aspect to it, but the solution is loan maafi. We will just forgive all the loans, and that should be the solution to the problem. That's obviously not the solution to the problem because it has not brought down the number of farmers we lose year after year. Have none of the solutions offered by government worked, Mr. Raghunathan? Do you expect this distress to continue in 2021? Are we likely to see the same numbers or worse numbers, in your opinion?
Faye, I will take on to an analogy. The small businessmen were pushed from the aeroplane with a parachute. For some of them, or most of them, the parachute bag never opened. For some of them which it opened, the parachute had torn and did not save their life. For those it opened, it saved few. A classic example of the government stimulus in the last 2 years for the COVID lockdown, in the last 19 or 20 months, we were locked for close to 17 months. The stimulus packages went on and on and on, but there were only two things, very clear. One is whatever the government payments to be made, they postponed it by 6 months or postponed it by a few months, but they recovered everything. The penalty interest killed everybody. The penal interest killed everybody for the delayed payments. Second, the ECGLS scheme, which they gave as an announcement of 3 lakh crore. Then they extended this year to 5 lakh crores. But believe me, my dear Faye, even today, as you and I are talking, the sanction is not reached 3 lakh crore. The dispersal has not touched 2.5 lakh crore. And why the people are not taking what is sanctioned? Think. It has not reached the right people. We talked about mudra loans. How many of the mudra loans, which means less than 10 lakhs of rupees loans, never reached the average? I saw the FM tweet when she went to the Assam. saying 4.53 lakh people, MSMEs or micro entrepreneurs were benefited with Mudra schemes. Average was 40,000 rupees. What is 40,000 rupees in today? You put me behind the house or kept me inside the house for more than 9 months and you give me just 40,000 rupees? You read in your opening remarks about the hand holding. You don't need to hold my hand. You don't need to recognize my problems. You don't need to do anything. At least save me from the penalties. Save me from the draconian laws of punishing me. Save me from being called as a willful defaulter. I am not a willful defaulter. You have made the honest people cry inside their heart with blood and end their life as what we see. For 4,000 crore, coffee day, owner died, committed suicide. For 4,000 rupees today, people are committing suicide. Online rummies are killing. Loans are coming. You and I saw the scam of the online loans being given and then fleeced. Now the bad bank is created. What is bad bank? I don't understand. You call the bad people's bank? What is bad bank? It should have been actually a good bank. We have not attended any revival policy. We only attended recovery policy. When the ship is sinking, we were trying to run away with the loot and scoot. We did not want to save. There are people who worked for 20 years, day and night, earned and gave it to the government as a tax. Today, when they are abandoned, there is no way the person who earned from me is seen. Where is a humanity touch? Where is a human touch? Are we celebrating GDP growth at the mercy of what? I am sad to talk like this. I wish in my life one day I speak to you with all the positivities of life. Today, you and I are seeing, every day we are reading in the newspaper, at least 2 unicorns are coming. What are these unicorns? All of them are disruptive technologies. All of them will kill the way the people are living. All of them are going to kill multiple lakhs of traders and business people community. Take the automobile sector. The EV vehicles boosting killed the regular automobile manufacturer. Look at the petrol cost. Look at the diesel cost. Look at the gas prices. I am not able to make the ends meet. My income has reduced. My expenses has increased. The widening gap is killing me. Now it will kill me. I have seen people, you know why I talk like this way? I have seen people coming to me and saying, sir, I wish I had died in the corona. How will you feel? Tell me, yes, 30-year-old boy coming and telling you, whispering to you when I tell him, I'm so happy, boy, you recovered from the COVID. He said, don't feel so, sir. I wish I'm gone. I'm now suffering much worse. I see entrepreneur coming and telling me, last year he was running a canteen contract in an IT building 2 years back. And he had bought a car which he would not have imagined in his life. Here he is coming to me and saying, can you give me money for my daughter's education?